When times get tough, your garden can become your lifeline. But if it looks like a food source, it might not stay yours for long. That's why stealth crops, plants that don't scream food, can be your secret weapon. In this video, I'm breaking down 10 crops you can grow that fly under the radar, keeping your food supply safe from thieves, vandals, or just desperate passersby. Let's get into it. Number 10. Peanuts. Peanuts grow in zones 5 through 10, with short-season varieties like Valencia performing well even in colder northern climates. Here's the stealth advantage. Most people have no idea what a peanut plant looks like, and even fewer know peanuts grow underground. The plant looks like a generic ornamental bush with small yellow flowers, nothing that screams food. For maximum stealth, skip the long rows that signal crops. Instead, plant peanuts in small clusters at corners of your garden or property. They'll look like decorative bushes while producing pounds of protein-rich legumes underground. Harvest after the first frost when leaves yellow. Dig up the entire plant, shake off soil, and hang upside down to dry for 2 to 3 weeks. Roast them in the shell or shell them for storage. Raw, they taste mildly sweet and grassy. Roasted, they're the classic nutty flavor everyone knows. Peanuts are packed with protein, healthy fats, vitamin E, and magnesium, serious survival nutrition hiding in plain sight. Number 9. Rutabaga. Rutabaga, also called swede, grows in zones 3 through 9 and thrives in cool weather. This root vegetable is a natural hybrid of turnip and cabbage, but above ground it just looks like generic leafy greens. Nothing about the foliage suggests there are calorie-dense roots growing underneath. The stealth factor is visual anonymity. Most people see green leaves and assume it's ornamental or inedible. Meanwhile, you're growing softball-sized roots packed with carbohydrates. Harvest after the first frost for sweetest flavor. The roots have creamy yellow flesh with a slightly sweet, earthy taste, milder than turnips. Roast them, mash them like potatoes, add them to stews, or shred them raw into slaws. Rutabagas store for months in a cool cellar. They're high in vitamin C, fiber, and potassium, excellent winter nutrition when fresh food is scarce. Number 8. Thibodeau du Comté de Beauce beans. This Quebec heirloom bush bean grows in zones 3 through 10 and produces green pods splashed with purple stripes. It's a compact bush variety, not a climbing pole bean, so it doesn't need trellises that advertise food crop. The stealth advantage: it grows as a dense, low bush with rosy pink flowers that look ornamental. The pods hide under heavy foliage, completely invisible unless you bend down and lift leaves. At a glance, it looks like a decorative flowering plant. Harvest young for fresh snap beans, or let them mature for dry beans perfect for baking or soups. Fresh, they're crisp and mildly sweet. Dried, they're hearty and starchy. Bush beans are nitrogen fixers, improving your soil while producing protein-rich food. They're packed with fiber, folate, and iron, all critical during long-term food shortages. Number 7. Pigweed, or Amaranth. Amaranth grows in zones 3 through 11 and thrives in poor soil with minimal water. Most people see it as a weed, which is exactly why it's perfect for stealth growing. It looks like a common invasive plant, not a food source. Here's the survival advantage. Both the leaves and seeds are edible. Young leaves taste like mild spinach and can be eaten raw or cooked. The seeds are tiny but nutritious. Harvest by bending mature seed heads into a bag and shaking. The seeds can be popped like tiny popcorn, ground into flour, or cooked like rice. They have a nutty, earthy flavor. The leaves are tender and mild when young, slightly bitter when mature. Amaranth seeds are nearly 14% protein and packed with lysine, an amino acid missing in most grains. The leaves are high in vitamins A, C, and calcium, serious nutrition hiding in a weed. Number 6. Jerusalem artichoke, or sunchoke. Sunchokes grow in zones 3 through 9 and look like wild sunflowers. Tall stalks with bright yellow blooms. Most people see them as decorative wildflowers, not food. That's your advantage. The edible part is underground. Knobby tubers that taste slightly sweet and nutty, like a cross between a potato and a water chestnut. Harvest after the first frost when the tops die back. Dig carefully and leave some tubers in the ground. They'll regrow next year. Eat them raw and crunchy in salads, roast them like potatoes, or add them to soups. They're high in inulin, a prebiotic fiber that supports gut health. Sunchokes are perennial and nearly impossible to kill once established. They spread aggressively, so plant them where you want a permanent food source. One planting feeds you for decades, completely invisible to anyone who doesn't know what they're looking at. Number 5. Egyptian walking onions. Walking onions grow in zones 3 through 9 and look like ornamental grass with weird bulblets growing on top of the stalks. Most people have no idea they're edible. Here's the genius. The green stalks taste like scallions and can be harvested year-round. The bulblets at the top are small onions you can pickle, roast, or eat raw. The plant walks by dropping those bulblets, which root and grow new plants, self-propagating food that requires zero replanting. The greens are mild and oniony. The bulblets taste like shallots, slightly sweet and pungent. Use them anywhere you'd use regular onions. Walking onions are perennial and virtually indestructible. Once planted, they spread slowly and produce forever. They look like ornamental grass, so they blend into landscaping perfectly. They're rich in vitamin C, antioxidants, and sulfur compounds that support immune function, critical when medical care is limited. Number 4. Camassia. Camassia grows in zones 3 through 8 and produces tall spikes of blue or white flowers in late spring. It looks like an ornamental bulb, which is exactly what makes it stealth. The edible part is the bulb, buried underground. Critical safety note: wild camas can be confused with death camas, which is toxic. Only harvest camas you planted yourself from verified sources. Never dig wild bulbs unless you're absolutely certain. The bulbs must be cooked long and slow. Roasting for hours turns the starches sweet and digestible. Properly cooked, they taste like sweet potatoes or roasted chestnuts with a mildly nutty, almost pear-like sweetness. Some people even bake desserts with them. Camas is in the asparagus family and was a staple food for Native American tribes in the Pacific Northwest. The cooked bulbs are high in complex carbohydrates and fiber, serious survival calories hiding in a decorative flower. Number 3. Chickpeas. Chickpeas grow in zones 3 through 9 and look like low, bushy plants with small white or purple flowers. Most people wouldn't recognize them as food. The pods are small and tucked under foliage, making them nearly invisible. Harvest when pods turn brown and dry on the plant. Shell out the chickpeas and store them dried. They taste mildly nutty and earthy, the classic flavor of hummus or roasted chickpeas. Use them in soups, stews, curries, or grind them into flour for flatbreads. Roasted chickpeas make crunchy, portable snacks. Chickpeas are nitrogen-fixing legumes, so they improve your soil while producing food. They're packed with protein, fiber, folate, and iron, essential nutrients when meat is scarce and your diet becomes grain-heavy. Number 2. Salsify, oyster plant. Salsify grows in zones 4 through 8 and looks like tall grass with purple or yellow flowers. Nothing about it suggests food. The edible part is the long, white taproot buried underground. The root tastes mild and slightly sweet, like artichoke hearts or asparagus, with a faint oyster-like flavor that gives it the nickname oyster plant. Harvest in fall after frost sweetens the roots. Peel and roast them, boil and mash them, or slice them raw into salads. They can also be made into mock oyster soup, hence the name. Salsify roots store well in a root cellar, or can be left in the ground all winter and dug as needed. They're high in fiber, potassium, and vitamin C, excellent nutrition when fresh vegetables are scarce. The plant looks so unremarkable that most people walk right past it. Number 1. Chinese yam. Chinese yam grows in zones 5 through 10 and produces a climbing vine with heart-shaped leaves and small, fragrant flowers. It looks ornamental, like a decorative fence covering, not a food crop. The edible part is the massive tuber growing deep underground. The tubers can grow 3 feet long and weigh several pounds. They taste mild, slightly sweet, and starchy, similar to a cross between a potato and a turnip. Harvest in fall after the vine dies back. Chinese yam can be boiled, roasted, stir-fried, or grated raw. In Asian cuisine, it's used in soups, stews, and medicinal preparations. The texture is smooth and creamy when cooked. The tubers are high in resistant starch, vitamin C, potassium, and manganese. They store for months in a cool, dry location. Chinese yam is perennial, so once established, it produces every year with minimal care. The vine looks completely decorative, making it the ultimate stealth crop. That's it for today. I hope you picked up some useful ideas and feel more confident about growing your own stealth crops. Let me know in the comments which one you're planning to try, or which one surprised you the most. Until next time, happy planting and stay prepared.